Hello students. So today I am taking up a topic from our chapter 1 of class 10 NCERT textbook. We have seen that how to prove roots 2 to be irrational by the contradiction method. Today I will tell you how to prove similar numbers to be irrational. They will be either one rational and irrational, or there will be a binomial with an irrational part. Like we will prove first how 3 root 2 will be irrational. Then I will take up a binomial, that is 5 plus 3 root 2, and see how we are going to prove it to be irrational. So here it is. So here it is how to prove this to be irrational. So first we will assume let 3 root 2 be a rational number. Then we can take 3 root 2 b in the form of a upon b, where b is not equal to 0 and a and b are co-prime integers. So after that I will take this rational part to the other side of the equation. So it will become root 2 equal to a upon 3b. Then I will say that in this equation we can see that there is one LHS and RHS. The RHS has a and b as integers and 3 is also an integer. This complete is a rational form, and we will be given that root 2 is irrational. So here what we have, here in RHS we have a, b and 3 are rational. So RHS is completely rational, but root 2 is irrational. So in this equation we have irrational on one side and rational on one side, which cannot be equal. An irrational LHS cannot be equal to a rational RHS. So we will say that hence it contradicts our assumption that 3 root 2 is a rational number. So hence it contradicts our assumption that 3 root 2 is a rational number, which implies that 3 root 2 is an irrational number. So now we shall prove that 5 plus 3 root 2 is an irrational number. So again we will assume that, on the contrary, let's assume that 5 plus 3 root 2 is a rational number. So it can be written as 5 plus 3 root 2 is equal to a upon b, where b is not equal to 0 and a, b are co-prime integers. So now we are going to keep root 2 on this side of the equation and take all the other things to the other sides. So it will be equal to 3 root 2 equal to a upon b minus 5, and this can be written as a minus 5b upon b, and then we will take 3 to the other side. So we will write root 2 equal to a minus 5b upon 3b. So again then we will say in RHS we have 3, 5, a, b as rational numbers. So which implies that RHS is rational. But it is given that root 2 is irrational, because that was already proved. So in this kind of questions it will be already given that this part is irrational, and prove the whole of this to be irrational. So root 2 is irrational. Thus, again, irrational cannot be equal to a completely rational side of the equation. Thus, it contradicts our assumption. Thus, it contradicts our assumption that 5 plus 3 root 2 is rational. Therefore, 5 plus 3 root 2 is irrational. Thank you.